Hi there, folks. It's Jonathan Denwood here from WP-Tonic. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about Fluent Community and what are some of the best hosting solutions for this great platform and plugin. At WP-Tonic, we love Fluent Community, but having the right hosting for it is really important. I will be coming back with some real knowledge so you can make the right decision. Be back in a few moments, folks. Coming back, folks. So you're looking at Fluent Community, but you're concerned about getting the right hosting, and you should be, because yes, it's a great plugin solution if you're looking to build a community membership facing website on WordPress. And WordPress runs between 43 and 45% of all websites out there. And there's a good reason why, because it gives you the maximum ownership and control which you need to build your business. Now, what are some of the key things you need to know about Fluent Community? Well, um, Fluent Community requires people to log in. The login process is one of the most stressful things. If you have multiple people logging in to your WordPress website, it is one of the most demanding on server resources than anything else that you might be doing on WordPress. And I include WooCommerce here because, yes, on the checkout page, if people are checking out products, you need performance. But the actual process of logging in and the process of multiple people logging in and then communicating with one another and pushing and pulling information inside the back end of the website is some of the most demanding things that a server can look at. So your normal type of hosting that you might look for a small business brochure type website isn't going to cut it with Fluent Community. But the good news is, until Fluent came on the market about 18 months ago, the only real choice at the time was Buddy Boss. Now, don't get me wrong, Buddy Boss is a great platform and it does offer more functionality than Fluent Community, about 10%, maybe 10, 20% more functionality. And it does offer an app. But for 80 to 90% of users, Fluent Community is a much better choice because Buddy Boss just was a monster when it came to utilizing server resources. It was just a monster. Um, Now, Fluent Community is much more lighter. It came out 18 months ago. It came from a team that are very experienced in building complicated solutions on WordPress. And the modern methodologies and the code base is much more optimized and utilizes a lot less resources than Buddy Boss because that was coded up a long time ago. But even though it's much better how it manages server resources, the fundamental thing is you're going to be logging in to the back end, and depending on the size of your community, um, a lot of people could be logging in at the same time. This is demanding. Now, this is why your cheap type of hosting and your cheap type of WordPress hosting provider isn't going to hack it. It's going to be fine when you're actually building the website, but as soon as you get a few people actually logging in at the same time, it's all going to go a bit pear-shaped really quickly. Now, what should you be looking from a modern hosting provider? Well, you used to have these kind of free tiers, and they're still there to some extent, shared hosting, um, virtual private hosting, dedicated, hosting. Shared hosting, you could have 100, 1,000 websites on a server, and everybody would be utilizing the same resources of that server. Um, Public-private, you would have little containers. So each website would virtually be separated. You would have dedicated, that's i.e. one website on one server. Now, these terms are still there, but really server technology's moved on in the last 5, 6 years tremendously. We have now what is called cloud hosting. It's using technology like Docker, where you have droplets, where you have a kind of virtual server, but it's much more utilizing much more modern technology, and it's utilizing other software, and software like Redis and different types of database technology. So the whole area's moved on. So I would recommend that you're going to be looking at a modern cloud hosting provider. I recommend that it should be managed WordPress hosting. That's a very abused term, but what do I mean by managed hosting? Well, basically, you be utilizing a cPanel. You're going to be utilizing a custom layout, or the hosting provider might not offer it unless you ask for it. At WP-Tonic, we don't offer it automatically because I would say 90% of our users are not interested in it. But the 10% that are, we provide a custom managed interface so they can manage to a higher level their website or the hosting part of it. Like I say, the bulk of our customers are quite happy to leave it to us to do that. Now, PHP workers, every time somebody logs into the back end there and tries to do something, PHP workers are the blood of doing what you're doing when you're logged into the back end. And the more people that are logged into the back end at the same time, the more PHP workers. It's a lot more complicated than this, but I'm trying to keep it so the average person can understand this video. So that's important. Maintenance, support, security, these are all important subjects, but they would be important on any type of website. Now, what are some of the providers that if I was in your shoes, I would look at? Now, obviously, WP-Tonic, we specialize in membership and community websites. We offer Fluent Community as part of our hosting package on all our plans. So, like I say, that's a great offer. So definitely look at what WP-Tonic's got to offer, but there's other great providers out there. Have a look at WP Engine. They start around $50 a month, month to month. The only problem with WP Engine is they use a caching technology called Varnish, and this can be problematic. But you will probably have to work with them. So certain pages, especially when somebody's logged in, they won't have a problem with Varnish. Um, it's just going to need a little bit more setup with WP Engine around this. And this applies to a lot of the hosting providers that I'm going to be talking about. At WP-Tonic, we automatically set all this up for you because this is what we do day in, day out. Another good provider is Pagely. Now, a little bit more expensive. They start at around $100, but you're getting really good. They are the premier provider under the umbrella GoDaddy. I wouldn't go to GoDaddy to host your Fluent community website on, but Pagely is their premier provider, and it starts at around slightly under $100. WP engine starts around 50, but the next level up will be around just under 100 as well. And WP-Tonic, we start, if you pay month to month, starts at 55. So it's an excellent starter for you. Um, Other ones, Rocket.net, great providers, become very popular in the WordPress professional space. Got bought out about 6, 7 months ago. There are some reports that their support has gone down a bit. Um, they do have a plan that starts around $35 month to month. I personally would say that you need to look at the middle plan, which is around $60 when you're looking at Fluent with any amount of people actually logging in. But for a while, it was very, very popular and still is good. Um, Conversio, fantastic, fantastic people. I know the people at Conversio. I have no problem recommending them. They, they, the plan that I would look at is their $150 plan. They really do specialize in WooCommerce and higher level websites. They do have some plans that are now around the Rocket.net price. But the plan I would look at is their 150, which is $150 a month. Um, you're if that's attractive to you, you're going to get great hosting from them. So have a look at that. Um, Cloudways is a little bit different. They provide support, and they're owned by DigitalOcean now. They offer droplets, but on different cloud platforms like DigitalOcean, Vulture, about half a dozen different cloud platforms. You can choose which one you want. Um, and then they do provide support. It is a bit more technical. It's not really aimed at the layperson. They would disagree with me there, but I honestly feel it's more aimed at a WordPress developer implementer that's helping you get everything set up and might be dealing with any maintenance problems or support problems, because they do offer really good support, but they do expect you to have a bit of knowledge about WordPress, about hosting, and be able to communicate at a certain level. So if that's not you, I don't think Cloudways, you're going to have a great experience, not because it's bad hosting, just for the reasons I've laid out. Now, hopefully you found this useful. If you've got any questions, put them in underneath the video. I answer all comments, all questions that come up in these videos. So like I say, if you've got any questions, put them in the comments. If you found this video useful, give us a like and think about subscribing to the channel, because about 70–80% of you are watching a lot of my videos, but you're not subscribing. And that really does show YouTube that I'm doing something right. So if you could do that, it would be appreciated. I'll see you soon, folks. Bye.